Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramamsa Pariragracharya Shuddha Shri Śrīmad, His Divine Grace, C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya, PVD Founder Acharya, Savior of the whole world, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramamsa Pariragracharya Shuddha Shri Śrīmad, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki, Undergodi Vaishnavan ki, Namacharya Rajas Thakur ki, Prem se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan, गंगा मैया की, यमुना मैया की, नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, वृंदावन धाम की, समेत भक्त वृंद की. All grace to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All grace to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All grace to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All grace to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirai Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Bangum Langayate. So we are reading from the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, chapter number 17. Verse 12. Ko vrishchat tava padam trin saurabhya chatuspada ma bhuvams tavadrisha rashtre rajnam krishnaanuvartinam ko vrishya tava padam stin saurabhya chatuspada ma bhuvams tavadrisha rashtre Ma bhuvam tava drishrashtre Rajnam Krishnaanuvartinam Ko vrishcha tava padam strin Saurabhya chatuspada Ma bhuvam tava drishrashtre Rajnam Krishnaanuvartinam Ko vrishcha tava padam stre Saurabhya chatuspada Ma bhuvam stava drishrashtre Rajnam Krishnaanuvartinam. Ko vrishcha सौरभ्या चतुष्पदा मा भुवां स्तवादृशाराश्रे मा भुवां स्तवादृशाराष्ट्रे राज्ञां कृष्णानुवर्तिनाम् को यश्चात् पदं फलास्मि मा भुवां स्तवादृशाराष्ट्रे चतुष्पदा मा भुवां स्तवादृशराष्ट्रे राजानां कृष्णानुवर्तिनाम्. Mataji's. को वृषत्व पादास्ते सौरभ्येया चतुष्पदा मा भुवां स्तवादृशाश्रे राज्ञां कृष्णानुवर्तिनाम्. Word to word meaning? Kaho, Kaho, who is he? Avrishat, cut off. Tava, your. Padan, legs. Trin, three. Saurabhya, O son of Surabhi. Chatupada, you are four-legged. Ma, never to be. Bhuvan, it so happened. Tavadrisha, as yourself. Rashtre, in the state. Rajnam, Rajnam, of the kings. Krishna, Anuvartinam, those who follow the codes of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. He, Maharaja Pariksit, repeatedly addressed and questioned the bull thus, O son of Surabhi, who has cut off your three legs? In the state of the kings who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, there is no one as unhappy as you. Purport. The kings or the executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Krishna, generally Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and must act accordingly in order to fulfill the mission of human life, which is to make an end to all miseries of material condition. One who knows the codes of Lord Krishna can achieve this end without any difficulty. In the Bhagavad Gita, in a synopsis, we can understand the codes of Godhead, and in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the same codes are explained further. In a state where the codes of Krishna are followed, no one is unhappy. Where such codes are not followed, the first sign is that the three legs of the representative of religion are cut off, and thereby all miseries follow. When Krishna was personally present, the codes of Krishna were being followed without question. But in his absence, such codes are presented in the pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam for the guidance of the blind persons who happen to be the helm of all affairs. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shram Shri Rupam Sagarachadam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parichana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Krishna Vyanitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So first of all, I seek blessings from all the devotees who are assembled here, especially the seniors who have been guiding me since the last many years. So I seek their blessings. I'm a very neophyte in the subject matter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to speak something, but for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga, I would try to discuss and speak something on this verse. Hare Krishna. So basically, we have been hearing this context where Kali is about to enter, and how Maharaja Pariksit is trying to stop his entrance into this age while he is ruling. So the age of Kali started when Krishna left back to his spiritual abode, and the Pandavas also started for the Himalayas to leave their bodies. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, he gave over the kingdom to Pariksit Maharaj. Not just the land, but even the waters, Sagara. He even gave the entire planet was being ruled by Pariksit Maharaj. So at that time, Kali was actually entering, but it was very difficult for him to enter because Krishna had just left and he had established Dharma. When Dharma is prevailing, Kali cannot enter. So Krishna says, no? Parityana sadhuna vinashaya chidushatam dharma samstapana. He had come to samstapana. He had come to establish dharma. So he had established dharma, and the Yudhishthira Maharaj ruled for 36 years. Hence, it was very difficult for Kali to enter, and he was trying, but he was ineffective. So Kali especially comes to destroy destroy dharma and to establish dharma. That's the specific reason why Kali manifest. But he could not enter. Hence, the first symptom of Kali's entrance was the three legs of dharma being broken. So there was a bull which represents dharma, and there was a mother cow which was representing earth, dharani. And we know that in the age of Kali, as we are reading in the last few verses, that the three legs of bull are being broken, and Kali is about to break the fourth leg. Like in the four ages, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar and Kali Yuga, in Satyuga, all four pillars of dharma are intact. That is austerity, mercy, cleanliness and truthfulness. And in Treta Yuga, three are intact. In Dwapar, two are intact. In Kali Yuga, only dharma is standing only on one leg. And he's even trying to break that. So the earth planet, which is mother cow, is feeling that pain. Actually, earth is a planet is a gateway to get out of this world. If you see the planetary system, there are 14 planetary systems. There are 7 above the surface and 7 below the surface. So if a building is there, there are 7 floors above the land, and there are 7, you can imagine a building with 7 floors. This is 5 story, 5 story, 7 floors and 7 basement. But if you want to get out of the building, you have to come to and earth is on the ground floor. right? Earth is on the ground floor. If you want to get out of that building, if you want to exit that building, you have to come on the ground floor. So Earth is a place where one can perfect dharma and practice devotional service. It's a place where you can practice devotional service to the perfection and get out, exit this material world and go back to the spiritual world. That is why Krishna also appears on earth. He appears on earth like he resides in Golok Vrindavan, but his Bhauma Vrindavan is also over here. Because this is a place where you can get out of the cycle of birth and death. So earth is a gateway, and that is represented by mother cow, that is we are hearing Dharani. Okay. So this opportunity that we get to take birth on earth planet in a human form of life is very special. What to speak about, and even more special is taking birth in India. You know, it's rare. Bharat Bhumi te hoilo janmajar, janma sarthak kari karo paropkar. It's already 50% of our life is already successful by taking birth in this land where Krishna has appeared, where there is Ayodhya, where there is Vrindavan, where there is Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Rameshwaram, all four dhams, Dwarka, they all are there. So it's rare. So it's an opportunity that we should take. So this age is meant for Kali, this age is meant for adharma. The one leg which is truthfulness is also being affected by Kali. He is also attacking that leg. In fact, dharma is classified into very different phases. One of those phases is the Varnashram system. Varnashram system, where Lord, which mentions, dharma is classified in different phases, and one of the phases in which dharma needs to be followed is the rules and regulations that are prescribed in the scriptures. Dharmam tu shakshat bhagavad pranitam. It's mentioned, the rules and regulations that are prescribed in the scriptures. So the manifestation of this dharma is in the form of Varnashram system. Krishna says, I made these four Varnas. Chaturvarnya maya shashtam guna karma vibhagasha. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudras. Brahmanas in the mode of goodness, Kshatriyas in the mode of passion, Vaishyas in the mode of passion and ignorance, and Shudras in the mode of ignorance. But Brahmanas, they being in the mode of goodness, they do not want to engage in the worldly affairs. Hence, Kshatriyas are given the charge to, and they are passionate. Kshatriyas are passionate. Hence, they take, and they have a tendency to enjoy the material world. But with enjoyment comes responsibility. Enjoyment and responsibility, they both go hand in hand. If you wish to enjoy, you should also be able to protect that. Hence, Kshatriyas are given the facility to be in the worldly affairs, but also protect. That is why Kshatriya means the one who protects one's society, one's praja, from all kinds of injuries. That's the meaning of the word Kshatriya. So Pariksit Maharaj is inquiring over here from the bull, because his lineage of his ancestors is very famous for ruling with dharmic principles. Hence he's inquiring, who are you? Are you some demigod? Are you trying to give an indication? Because my family has always been serving in the principles of dharma. Krishnānuvartinam, I just mentioned that Krishnānuvartinam, that means the one who follows the codes of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have been following, and hence I'm inquiring, who are you? He's asking. Already 3 legs of yours are broken, and this Shudra is also trying to break your 4th leg. Is also trying to break your 4th leg. So Shudra is actually, so here also we get to know the identity of Kali. Kali is dressed as a king, but he's a Shudra. And a Shudra is in the mode of ignorance, as we just heard, the 4 Varnas. He's in the mode of ignorance. But he wants to rule in this age. He wants to rule. He wants to rule. So that is a typical identity of the leaders of this age. It's a typical identity of the leaders of this age. That they would be low born, but they would want to rule and lead the society. Hence, this is how Kali establishes authority in this age. But I was going through some lectures and I realized wonderful thing that was mentioned, that Kali was not able to remove Maharaj Pariksit, get rid of Maharaj Pariksit. So he took the help of, he didn't take the help, he affected the Brahmanas. Shringi became the cause of getting Maharaj Pariksit leaving this body. A Brahmana who cannot control his anger, unqualified Brahmana. He could have thought, oh, Maharaj Pariksit, such a great ruler, he is very much required to maintain dharma. Though he must have done some mistake, but it can be forgiven. But because the Brahmana was unqualified, Kali enters through the Brahmanas. I could not locate that verse, but it mentions that how Kali, in Kali Yuga, the Rakshasas are born as Brahmanas. Rakshasas are born as Brahmanas. And then they, and the first thing that they do after they are born in the Brahmana kul is that they give irreligious principles and encourage killing of animals. And that's how then the deterioration starts. And because Brahmanas are unqualified, Kshatriyas no more, and Brahmanical culture is lost, Kshatriyas no more want to follow their instructions. Shri Radha Madhav ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramaya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the Kshatriyas do not want to follow the instructions of the Brahmanas, because in a Brahmanical culture, Brahmanas were the one who gives instructions to the Kshatriyas. They guide them how they should rule the kingdom. But the Kshatriyas have become independent now. And an independent Kshatriya is not a very positive or not a very ideal situation. So this is the influence of Kali that came on this world. And then degradation happened. If we see in the world also how degradation took place. Prabhupada mentions that India was solely ruling the entire world. Before foreign invasion took place. There is a story of Prithviraj Chauhan wherein he was guarding the western frontier of Rajasthan. And there he was attacked by Muhammad Ghori 17 times. And 17 times Muhammad Ghori was defeated. And the 18th time, Muhammad Ghori then took help of another Indian Kshatriya leader who had some bitterness with Prithviraj Chauhan. Taking his help, he defeated Prithviraj. And that's how, that was the first instance of how foreign rule came into India. And then degradation happened, Mughals came, Britishers came. The monarchy rule was abolished. And eventually, democracy was established. Prabhupada says democracy is demon crazy. He says demon crazy. Crazy demons trying to rule the world, So, and as a result, people, it says, for the people, of the people, and by the people, So ignorant people trying to vote a leader, what kind of a leader they will vote? Those are ignorant, what kind of a leader they will vote. So Dashyu Prayeshu Rajyasu. So dacoits and bandits, they will be voted. But Kali Yuga has one great advantage. Kalir Dosha Nidhi Rajam. Asti Eko Mahaguna. There's one good quality about Kali Yuga. Acharyas say, in fact, this is the best age of all the ages. Because just by chanting the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, one can go back home, back to Godhead. There's a very famous video of Prabhupada where when he's giving a lecture, and after the lecture, one of the disciples asking a question that, Prabhupada, how much time will it take us to go back to the spiritual world? Prabhupada says, one moment. He says in a very heavy, one moment. And he says, are you not reading Bhagavad Gita? What Krishna mentions, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vaja. Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshishami ma sucha, he says, one moment, within 1 moment you can go back, and that is what is the instruction of Bhagavatam as well, that just by Eko Mahan Guna, that Mahan Guna is that you can just do Kirtana Deva Krishnasya and one can go back to the spiritual world. So if we take advantage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we can all go back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime. Not what to speak about many, many lives, this very lifetime. So coming back to the purport, in the purport there is a very beautiful instance which is mentioned in the first line. The kings or the executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Krishna, generally Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and must act accordingly in order to fulfill the mission of human life. Okay. One who knows the codes of Lord Krishna can achieve this end without any difficulty. In the Bhagavad Gita, synopsis is mentioned. We can understand the codes of Godhead in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which I explain even further. Further it is mentioned, the one who follows the codes of Krishna will never be unhappy. Will never be unhappy. So, what are the codes of Krishna? Can someone tell me what are the codes of Krishna? In the Bhagavad Gita, what do we come across as, because we all want to remain happy, right? Right? But it's Dukhalayam, Ashashvatam. We are always facing some or the other misery. Donation आया तो भी misery, donation नहीं आया तो भी misery. And आया और उसको कैसे, we have to utilize is also another anxiety. So but we always want to be happy. So how can we be happy? What are the codes mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita? What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? Okay, he says surrender. Anything else? Oh, man manabha bhaktu madhyaji mam namaskar. He says, pay obeisances to me, offer your worship, pay homage to me, bow, and in this way you'll come back to me. Engage your mind in me, thinking of me in this way you come back to me. But the conclusion is that the Krishna says, sarvadharman parityaja. He says, you surrender unto me. You surrender unto me, and I shall relieve you from all kinds of sinful activities. Who is he telling this to? Arjuna. Who is Arjuna? A Grihastha. He's not just a Grihastha, he's a Kshatriya. He's not just a Kshatriya, he is a younger brother of the ruler of the world. So he has all facilities to do sense gratification, to enjoy. To him, he is saying, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, give up all religion. So, we, in our different spheres of life, like somebody is a Grihastha, somebody is a Brahmachari, somebody may be a Vanaprastha, somebody is a Sannyasi. How do we follow this surrender principle? We hear this million times, surrender, surrender, surrender. But hota nahi hai. So how do we do it? How do we do it? Anukul will say, okay, you accept whatever it is favorable for your Krishna consciousness and you reject what is not favorable. Okay? Like Madhavendra Puri, this is a very high stage of realization. Shripad Madhavendra Puri, one of our acharyas, he says, I pay obeisances to my Sandhya Vandanam, I pay obeisances to all my sannyas duties, but I'm too busy because my mind is continuously engaged in thinking of Krishna. That is a too high stage. Of course, we cannot imitate that stage. But as I said, how can we be happy in different spheres of life? Prabhupada is mentioning over here that you cannot be unhappy if you follow the codes of Krishna mentioned in the books or like Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita. How do we do that? We may think of preaching. Sometimes, I was hearing this lecture by Patri Prabhu, and he was mentioning that once he went to the casino to he went and did Kirtan casino. So he explains that I was doing a house program in the night at one life member's house, and it was 11:30. So I took some break to take some prasad, and I was also talking to the life member. While I was speaking to the life member, I asked him, what's your profession? What do you do? He's like, "Theek hai Babaji, it's okay." Like, what do you do? He said, I run a casino. With the car, idhar hai. He says this is a story of India only. So he's like, is it here? Is it open? And it was New Year's. It was 1999 year, 31st December. So millennium was coming up. Like, can we go there? So Patri was saying, can we go there? And then this life member says, Prabhuji, it is not meant for people like you. So Patri was like, अरे हम अंग्रेजी बाबा है, हमने ये सब देख लिया, ये हम अंग्रेजी बाबा है, हमें फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, चलो ठीक 11:15 he says ठीक 12:30 बजे वहाँ पे कीर्तन करेंगे, मिलेनियम ईयर में कीर्तन के साथ जाएंगे. But he was saying at the end of the lecture, see, I went, doesn't mean that you all also have to go. So we should go, but we should not get stuck. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He took Gadadhar Das with him. I don't recollect that. But yeah, he didn't. So he was thinking, Gadadhar Das was thinking, why did Mahaprabhu come here to meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi? Look at his opulence. He didn't want to meet Maharaj Prataprudra, but he came here to meet Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And Mahaprabhu knew what he was thinking, so immediately recited a verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Hearing the verse, Pundarik Vidyanidhi started demonstrating ecstatic symptoms, which also proved to Gadadhar that he was a very elevated devotee. So these facilities did not matter for Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada, we know that in Mayapur, he was living in a hut. In New Vrindavan, it is a palace, golden palace, golden palace. If you come to Juhu, it's like, when Prabhupada saw first time the quarters of Juhu, he said, he was with a gentleman, and he said, just look at them, look at these boys, what they have made for me. It's a palace. But Prabhupada used these facilities to preach Krishna consciousness. He came to fulfill the prediction of Mahaprabhu. He came to fulfill the prediction of Mahaprabhu. And that's how I was discussing codes of Krishna. Yeah. So he came to fulfill the prediction of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu's prediction was that in every town and village, my holy name will be chanted. So once a Sankirtan devotee went to Brazil. In Brazil, you know about the rainforest, Amazon rainforest in Brazil? He goes to the Amazon rainforest. He's thinking, मैं ही हूँ जो पहली बार आया हूँ, let's, कुछ नया करते हैं. He goes and he knocks at a door. And he knocks at the door. Mataji opens the door with a sari, with a tilak, and says, yes, Hare Krishna. And he was thinking, Hare Krishna, how did you become a devotee? She calls him inside and she explains, actually I was an air hostess, I was a stewardess. And I was flying on the plane in which Prabhupada was flying. And Prabhupada at that time was taking puff rice, murmura. And when I went to his seat, I saw this and I was quite fascinated. I asked him, what is this, Swamiji? And he said, this is puff rice, and he offered me some. In fact, Shuddhakirti Prabhu mentions that Prabhupada finished his puff rice and he passed on the Mahaprasad to us. I gave some of it to the devotee who was traveling with me, and the other half was in my plate. And an air hostess was passing by. She got so fascinated by that puff rice that she just directly put her hand in that plate and she had the puff rice. And after having that puff rice, she felt, wow, this is amazing. Because she had the Mahaprasad of Srila Prabhupada, she immediately got the desire to offer some service. So she told Prabhupada, Swamiji, can I get you something? Prabhupada said, some hot milk? If you can give me some hot milk. So after 10 minutes, she returned back and she gave her hot milk. And then life carried on, and then she later on met some devotees, she got books, and realized this is the aim of life. This is what I want to do. I want to do Krishna consciousness. She started preaching where she was staying, and that's where she was staying. She was staying in the Amazon rainforest of Brazil. So Lava Mata Shadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Just by a moment's association, she could follow the codes of Gita. She could follow just by moment. And she could do that, and she could perfect her life. Similarly, there's a story here where Indradumna Swami Maharaj goes to the same Amazon forest to preach. In fact, he meets the government over there, and the government provides him with a boat, a nice small white boat, and he provides him with a lot of essentials. Mostly they are food items. and he wants to go and preach. So he takes her on the boat with a local boatman. He goes to this first village, and as we've heard, these in these places, the tribal places, people are always very much concerned that some foreign person will attack them or capture them and things like that. So they were about to attack Indudumna Swami Maharaj, and this was warned by the boatman. And he said that if you what should I do? Like if you want to connect with them, then you must do something that attracts them. Do something that is attractive. So he started cooking on the boat. He started cooking fresh food on the boat, and that was giving very nice aroma, fragrance. And they realized that this man is very nice. He has made fresh food for us, and he wants to offer it to us. Then that's how he got to meet them. He interacted with them. He offered them beads. They told them they should chant Hare Krishna mantra. There was a small child over there, small boy. He got very much touched by Maharaj's presence. And after some time, he told Maharaj, Maharaj, I want to get initiated. Maharaj was thinking, I've met him for the first time, and he's a small boy. He's like, hey, you keep chanting Hare Krishna 16 times, and I'll come back and then initiate you, I'll come back after some time. And Maharaj carries on to another village, and that's how he goes in the entire rainforest for 1 month. While coming back from the same village, he still sees that boy chanting under the tree. And he tells him, you keep going like this, I'll come back after a few years and initiate you. And Maharaj then carries on with his preaching around the world. After a few years, another sannyasi goes there. And then when he comes back and he meets Maharaj, Maharaj asks him, how was your visit? He's like, it was very nice. They all remember you. They all speak about how you cooked for them and everything. They really glorify you. But one thing that really touched me, he tells Maharaj, is that there was this one boy who is still sitting under the tree waiting for you, chanting Hare Krishna every day. You must go back, Maharaj. You must go back. And you know what? He's the most happiest person because he's chanting Hare Krishna. He's following the codes of the Bhagavad Gita. Though he has polio, he's weak. It's difficulty for him to move. But still, he's the most happiest person in that entire village. And then later on, Maharaj plans to go back. He eventually goes back after. The story is 6-7 years old. So then later on, he goes back and he does that. So it is mentioned here that Bhagavad Gita is a synopsis. And if you don't understand, then he gives, if you don't understand the Bhagavad Gita, then Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is given. It explains even further. It is mentioned the purport. Explained even further. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is given to follow the codes of Krishna. Actually, Prabhupada mentions over here, if you see, he mentions that the kings or the executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Krishna, generally Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He doesn't go in detail explaining what is Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, but because he expects us to read and know Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He doesn't go into detail of explaining it. So following the codes of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada did that. Srila Prabhupada was having a conversation with Krishna. Like, I don't want to go to the material world, to the earth planet. Krishna says, just go there. Prabhupada says, no, there's so much of austerity. You see the Goswamis, they're sitting under a tree, wearing just a kopin, and every day, different tree. Krishna says, you just go and write books. I'll make palaces for you around the world. And that's what it happened. So during Prabhupada times, devotees were very enthusiastic. When Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he had some indifference with his god brothers. He said, he told Prabhupada, what should I do? Should I go to China and preach? Prabhupada said, yes, that's a good idea. You should go to China and preach. And if you see now, just before COVID, good 400-500 devotees every year used to come for the Mayapur festival from China. Chinese nationals. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि मतलब आपने हिंदू को आप एक preach किया और उसको साड़ी पहनाया और धोती कुर्ता पहनाया. It's Chinese nationals. When I saw them in Jew, they had come to, their pit stop was at Jew. From Jew, they had to go to connecting flight to Calcutta. I was surprised. And I was not in full-time devotional service that time, and I was still maybe I just started my work. I used to feel pathetic. I should spit on myself. These guys, if they can chant Hare Krishna and perform devotional service, then what am I doing? I'm wasting my life. I'm absolutely wasting my life. I was shocked. Raising hands and chanting Hare Krishna, I could not even imagine. Like, I don't get the desire to raise hands sometimes in the Aarti, but they are raising hands with full faith chanting Hare Krishna. And they must be getting cheated so many times, million times before coming to India. Still, they know Krishna is there in India. He's not there in China. Still they come. So yeah. So there's so many stories. If we follow the codes of Krishna, then life is fun. Like Janivas Prabhu mentions that in Mayapur we want to have 365 days festival. 365 festivals. That is a festival every day. What is a festival in Sanskrit called as? Utsav. What does the word Utsav mean? Ut means to uplift and Sava means consciousness. Something that uplifts your consciousness is called as Utsav. And you won't believe that he said that there are already 180 festivals that take place in Sridham Mayapur. So every second day is a festival. Every second day is a festival. That's why it's called Mayapur is a place, Prabhupada said Mayapur is a place of worship. Like we see when we have Radha Ashtami, Janmashtami, like I was just yesterday speaking to Abhishek Prabhu, he's like, Prabhuji, 50,000 people are there. 50,000 people. So you cannot imagine if this hall gets filled up with 150 or 100 people, you would want to get out of it. Can you imagine 50,000 people on one day? But we all get rejuvenated. We all get happy because that's an utsav. We don't sit in Abhishek. We don't sit in Abhishekam watching Abhishek like this. On a chair. We sit like this. Jagah nahi hoti hai, So we sit like this. Sometimes people cross over us. Sometimes people push us. But we see the Lord bathing, and we do that every year because it's an utsav. So that's why one can uplift one's consciousness by doing these things. So these are this is called following the codes of Krishna. Like in Abid's temple, when I had gone earlier for some seva in 2018, I used to see one brahmachari. There was just one brahmachari in that temple. He would daily go out for Sankirtan in the morning, daily. Whether it's he alone or whether there are 10 with him, he would go daily. Just have a kartal and a sling speaker, sling back kind of a speaker, and would go around walking and doing kirtan. Why? Because he loves Krishna. And that is what can please Krishna. And that is what is following the codes of Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada took the risk to go at the age of 70 to America. Why? To please his Guru Maharaj, following the codes of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. He could have stayed back in Radha Damodar temple and done all his sannyas duties very nicely, but he took the risk. Like in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita as well, Arjuna, if you see, he's standing 2 feet. How far? If you see the book of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is 2 feet away from Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. So if somebody is 2 feet away from Krishna, you cannot be dejected, right? Arjuna was dejected. Why? Because his ideas were different from ideas of Lord Krishna. So in the beginning, Arjuna was dejected, but in the end, he was injected with what he had to do for Krishna. He says, Nashta moha smrital labdha karishe vachanam tav. I will do what you have told me to do. My moha, my illusion is completely now nashta. In the beginning, when the second chapter, Krishna is saying that, he's expressing a surprise element, Akirti karam Arjuna, I'm not able to recollect that word. Shad Bhagwan Uvacha. Sorry. Pragrya, Association Ruji is in 2.10, no. 2.11. 2.2 is, Anarya Jushtam Asvargam, Akirti Karam Arjuna. It's like if your behavior, this kind of a behavior, Arjuna will not make you famous, will make you infamous. And then when Arjuna surrenders, immediately Krishna becomes heavy. He says, Asoshan Anva Sochasam Pragna Vadam Sa Basase Gatasuna Gatasunsa Nanu Sochanti Pandita. You are behaving like a Pandita, but actually you're not a Pandita. Immediately Krishna takes a position where he tries to guide him. So hence he was injected with the teachings of the Lord directly, which made him which made his moha nashta at the end of the discussion. Last week we had Rameshwar Prabhu in Juhu, and because we are speaking on codes of Krishna, there are so many things that I can speak, but he was mentioning a wonderful story. In 1975, they had got an instruction from Prabhupada to print 1 lakh Bhagavad Gita copies. 1 lakh Bhagavad Gita. We are all trying to distribute 1 lakh Bhagavad Gitas this time. May Srila Prabhupada fulfill our desire and Sri Radha Mother fulfill our desire. So 1 lakh Bhagavad Gitas in 1975. One Bhagavad Gita was costing $1. So kitna ho gaya? Huh? $1 lakh. It was 1 million. 1 million, sorry, my bad. It was 1 million Bhagavad Gita copies that they had to print in 1975. One copy was costing $1. That means they needed $1 million to print. And similarly, on a Sunday, like in a Sunday feast class, he was sitting, he was giving a lecture, but continuously contemplating that how we can get this $1 million. And because earlier once he had told Prabhupada, this is impossible. He was saying in Jew that one fool made an attempt to tell Prabhupada that it was impossible. Prabhupada told that there's nothing that is impossible. He was pointing towards himself that there's one fool who told him it's impossible. So 1 million copies in 1975. After the class, after the Sunday feast class, he said there was a gentleman who was well dressed. He walked up to me and he was speaking to me. And I unusually also spend 40 minutes speaking to him. It's quite unusual for me to spend 40 minutes. And after 40 minutes, when I told him about karma, Gita, soul, everything, he said, I have something to give you. He went out in his car, and from his car he got a golden briefcase. And he said, this is for you. And Rameshwar Swami, that time, he was thinking, what should I do with this? What will be there? He kept the briefcase in his office, and he was doing his day's duties, whatever he had to do during the day. And in the night when he came back, he's like, chalo, let me see what this gentleman has given. He opened the briefcase. It was a briefcase. He opened the briefcase, and he's like, and he saw that the briefcase was completely filled with $100 bills. Completely filled with $100 bills. He called up his secretary, like, come immediately to my office. I don't care whether you're in gamcha or in pajamas, come immediately. And he goes there, they count it. It's $250,000. $250,000. He's like, hey, tomorrow bank opens in the morning at 9, let's go at 8:45. And they go there to the bank. The bank had also not seen so much money in one go. They call the bank manager, everybody, the bank branch manager. They all start counting. It is $250,000. That day itself, Maharaj gives order to the printing that, this is the advance, because they needed an advance to start the printing work. And this was an ideal advance, 25% of the amount. He gives it to the printer. Maharaj was mentioning that till the printing of Harry Potter came, this was the highest order which was printed in one go, 1 million copies. It held the record of printing 1 million copies, the highest in one go. So much of paper was ordered that the printer had to run a train from the paper mill to the printing press. A special train was run. So Maharaj came back from the bank. He had paid off the printer guy. And the evening, in the night, 2 black Mercedes come, outside the temple. 6 bodyguards get down, and there's one man inside. He also gets down. They are covering. He comes inside. I want to meet the head of this temple. They bring him to Rameshwar Swami that time. He said, my business partner came here yesterday, and he gave you some cash, which he was not supposed to give. I've come to take that. Rameshwar Prabhu says, I spent it. He says, how in the world could you spend $250,000 in 24 hours? He shows him the payment advice. Yeah, he shows him the bank advice. See, he explains that, we want to print 1 million Bhagavad Gitas, and this is what we do. This is Bhagavad Gita, what knowledge it gives, and we need to give an advance. So I gave an advance. This is the payment advice. I've transferred it. While hearing Maharaj, that man got a little pacified, and after some time he said, see, you look to be a good man, you look to be a God's man, you're doing a good work. Consider it as a donation from our side. That's how Maharaj said, that's how we got the advance to print 1 million copies. And then once the copies came, we could sell it and keep printing the rest of them. So, what was he doing? Following the instruction of the spiritual master. If one sincerely follows the instruction of the spiritual master, if one has complete faith in what the spiritual master has said, or our immediate authorities, then there is nothing that is impossible. And similarly, he also mentions one more story about Surabhi Swami. You know Surabhi Swami? He constructed the Jew temple. I think so he also built the Hyderabad Abed's temple project. I don't know. Same style. Yeah. So when Surabhi Swami in 2015, before leaving his body, he went to LA. And when he came to LA, when he came in front of the deities of Rukmani Dwarkadish, he started crying. He started weeping tears. And so the devotees over there asked him, you've come here for the first time, why are you crying? He's like, no, he said, why are you crying? What's the reason? He's like, I got my service from Rukmani Dwarkadish. He's like, what are you saying? You came here for the first time. How did you get your service from Rukmani Dwarkadish? He said, Srila Prabhupada told me in Juhu that he wanted to make the Jew temple in LA. He wanted to make the Jew-style temple in LA because LA was the world headquarters that time. But Rukmani Dwarkadish told him that you make this temple in Juhu. He said, you make this temple in Bombay. You make this temple in Bombay. And Prabhupada said, no, I wanted to make it. I want to show the entire world that such a beautiful temple is there in America. But Rukmani Dwarkadish just stressed that no, you make this temple in Bombay. And that's how when I met Prabhupada, I got this seva to construct or to look after the entire construction of this temple. And then when Surabhi Swami went back to Vrindavan, within few days he left his body. But that's how he perfected his life and he was happy. Though there were so many difficulties in the Bombay project, we hear it in so many books, but still he could fulfill the desire of his Guru Maharaj, and that's how he was always happy. So our Bombay temple is not. In fact, any temple that Prabhupada says they are all Vaikunthas, these all spiritual world. But Mumbai is special because of Rukmani Dwarkadish personally guides, telling Prabhupada to make that. So in spite of so many difficulties, we now see there's a huge temple in the heart of the city. Heart. Prabhupada said this will become the heart of the city. And now it is all the top Bollywood stars, all the top businessmen, they all stay in Jubilee. Like the way we go to Jubilee, like they all stay in Juhu. Like the way here we go to Jubilee Hills and Banjara Hills. There everybody, we don't have to go very far if you have to meet big people. We just step out, go in the lanes nearby, and you can meet big people, really big people. Trust me. So, yeah. In fact, there's this. I'll just conclude with one last pastime of. We know Narasimhadev as being very, very ferocious. So ferocious that he didn't waste a single moment to kill Hiranyakashipu. He just tore him apart. Didn't think of fighting with him, spending some time, but he just tore him apart. And after killing him, there were millions of demons who came to attack him. So all the entire family of Hiranyakashipu, extended family. It is mentioned there is one of the forms of Narasimha which has 32 million hands. 32 million hands. And with that, so many hands, Narasimhadev, he killed all of them. And he was so angry, and he was screaming. When you are angry and you cannot do anything, what do you do? There's kuch kar nahi pa raha hu main, frustration aa raha hai, and similarly, we get this thing from where? From the Lord. Everything comes from the Lord only. So he was also getting frustrated. And nobody had the guts to go close to Narasimhadev and pacify him. So Lord Brahma told Prahlad Maharaj, see, I am Brahma. I created the entire Krishti, but I don't have the guts to go close to him. Why don't you go? Brahma said, yeah, not a problem. He takes a garland, goes close to Narasimhadev, and he puts a garland. Within the anger, Narasimhadev sees, oh, where does the garland come from? And then he sees Prahlad. And I was hearing that Narasimhadev is a form in which he expresses the highest Vatsalya Bhav to Prahlad, like a father, because his child was tormented, tortured so many times. So when he sees Prahlad, he immediately takes up Prahlad and he embraces him and he starts licking him because he's a lion, so he starts licking him. As he's licking him, his anger is also getting pacified. His anger is also getting pacified. So just by embracing in one form, you may say, "Arey, you were just angry a second ago. What happened to you suddenly?" But that is for those who don't follow the codes. So that is for those who don't follow the codes. But for those who follow, he's embracing and licking them. We see a photo of Prahlad and Narsimha Devi being embraced. He's embracing them. So if we wish to get embraced by the Lord, then we should follow the codes of Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And we can do that. We can do that very easily. Prabhupada has given us this facility in all our temples, that even if a visitor comes to the temple, he automatically offers obeisances, offers some flowers, offers some prasad, bhoga, takes honors prasad. He automatically involves in following codes of Krishna. So, this is a wonderful purport, small but a wonderful purport, which speaks about how we can be happy always just by following the codes of Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So I stop here. Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. If there are any questions or comments. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. You have narrated wonderful pastimes and wonderful. Overall, it is so nice. I have one doubt, Prabhuji. You mentioned like every yuga, one leg of the dharma is breaking up. So Kali has entered only like 5,000 years ago when Kali Yuga entered. So, but by then already there must be like bull would have lost 2 of her legs and third leg would have been broken by Kali. So who would have broken those 2 other legs? So
with every birth we forget what happened in our previous lives. Similarly,
Pardon?
I in my previous lives do not remember. I may have taken birth in Treta, Dwapar as well. Was amongst the demons, could not go back to Godhead. So, but I apologize. I don't have an answer. Prabhuji, if
same Kali. Yeah, that we understand. But again, in Kali Yuga, the Shastras introduce Kali personification. Like that in Satya Yuga was there Satya Yuga personification, Dwapara Yuga personification, Treta Yuga personification.
But very nice question. Completely out of syllabus for me. I'm a neophyte, but yeah, maybe I can also once. Sachin Hari Prabhu. If you know, you can please.
Hare Krishna. So I am also don't know, but I may guess something like this. The demonic nature is there all the time. Just like in Satya Yuga also, there is demoniac people. Hiranyakashipu was there, Hiranyaksha was there, and Rakshasas were there, Dwapara Yuga also. So this demoniac power was there. So in Kali Yuga, Kali Purusha is there, of course, Kali Purusha. But this demonic things, demonic qualities
Was
are
not
there.
so prominent.
Demons, like there is also a personification of adharma. Isn't it? Kali Purusha is a person, but it's adharma. If you go to the Shastras, there are personalities for dharma, personality for adharma also. So something like that could be there, but who removed, we don't find anywhere in Shastras. I mean, we never heard anywhere. And I also heard this version that, okay, now what are the 4 principles, four legs of dharma? Truthfulness,
Cleanliness, mercy,
cleanliness,
and austerity.
and mercifulness. Now these four things we find in Kali Yuga to some extent. Okay, what is that one like in Kali Yuga? What is that one like remaining? Truthfulness, but there is mercifulness also. Is it completely removed? No, it's not removed. So I had this version that 75% of each quality is gone. So in that way it is like one, like, I don't know how much sure it is, but I heard like this.
I tried to concoct Prabhuji. Like dharma is 100% in Satya Yuga, and then gradually by the end of Satya Yuga 25% is gone. So but still dharma is in leading. So Kali is not yet highlighted anywhere, and similarly by the end of Dwapara Yuga, during Dwapara Yuga 50% dharma and adharma. So Kali is still not taken over, like in companies.
Yeah, not full charge.
Ownership is like 51%. So by the time of Kali Yuga, it is like Kali's predominance is there, dharma's dominance is gone, like 75% Kali, and then the reins are with the Kali. That's why maybe this is highlighted as Kali Yuga. Probably it's concoction, probably.
Yeah. If we see that in during Lord Ram's time, people had it was ruled so finely that people still wish for Ram Rajya. People had the ability to leave their bodies at their own will. That was the governance of Lord Ram. Of course, that is deteriorating, and hence, as I mentioned, that how the degradation happened, how the Brahmanical culture was lost. As I mentioned in the beginning, how the Brahmanical culture was lost, because of which the degradation has heavily increased. Kali, the first symptom of Kali, also in the beginning I mentioned that is killing of the animals. That becomes intensified in this age. Yes, Prabhu.
To add something.
Yes.
So sometimes in the scriptures, descriptions are not definitive but indicative. How it is, like if you go to 7th canto, appearance of Lord Narasimha, it is said Narasimha is touching the sky. Okay. So how do you understand? So is it how big he may be? I mean, he's so tall, the description is like he's touching the sky.
Yeah.
But sky is also like unlimited. That means how much tall it would be if you read the description of the Lord's appearance. Now another example, like soul. It is said soul is 1 by
10,000
part of
the
tip of the hair.
Yeah.
So that could be some very, very, very 10 to the power of some microns. Okay. Now is it but soul is not material. How can you cut the tip of this hair into? How can you categorize soul into a matter? So it is so small that it's beyond your material calculations. So you don't. So it is beyond your. You can't see the soul. So to make us understand how subtle they are, or even being subtle also, how powerful they are, in our material calculations is told like that. So some statements are like that. Okay, how bull without 3 legs, but how the bull was walking on one leg, how it was speaking. So this is something indicative.
Yeah, very nice. It's some statements are definitive and some are indicative. Statement of surrender unto me is definitely definitive. So we can all meditate upon that. Yeah, hope that answers, Prabhuji, your question a little bit. I feel that is quite practical, definitive and indicative.
Now, even if you see the description of Pariksit Maharaj, just before this chapter, all the kingdoms that he had traveled is mentioned. So in that there is a mention of Himalayas, not these Himalayas, the other Himalayas, which are the other side of the Bharatavarsha. So he has gone even till there, Ailavrita Varsha, all this description is there. That is something mind-blowing it is. It's like he covered the whole Jambudvipa only. So these are something we have to ask some very scholarly person.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
But these are some statements where it is very indicative. Okay, anyone want to add something? I can.
Great. So, any other questions or comments?
One more thing, around Kali Yuga, Prabhuji, I was making some points. Pariksit Maharaj has vowed in front of Dharma and Dharani that I will kill Kali. So he has vowed, so he is supposed to kill Kali. But when Kali fell in at his feet, then he excused him. So, because he excused Kali, we are all also suffering. Had he killed Kali that time, probably Kali Yuga wouldn't have come. But how can we understand
Probably
that?
we wouldn't have come to Kali Yuga only if during
Pardon?
Krishna. I'm saying probably we wouldn't have come to Kali Yuga only had we during Krishna's time or Lord Ram's time, because we are all in this material world since the beginning. Because Krishna says once who goes back to the spiritual world doesn't come back to this material world. That means we are here and we haven't gone back. 4 ages have gone by and we haven't gone back. So there were some opportunities. That's why I said in the beginning that I'm amongst those demons who could not go back still to in the first 3 ages. But by the mercy of Prabhupada and some devotees, Kripa Sindhu Bhai Vache, I could now do I'm able to perform some devotional service. So not to blame Kali and Pariksit Maharaj. Pariksit Maharaj is a pure devotee of the Lord. He knows that who can stop the will of the Lord. Time will prevail over anything. Kala Vasmi, Krishna says, I am time. And if Krishna decides that time will prevail over everything else, then who am I to stop and kill Kali?
Here, like Kali is shown
And
as
Kali
a
is
person.
not Kali, as I said, Kali is not able to get rid of Pariksit Maharaj. That is why the Brahmanas, I was mentioning that how Rakshasas are born in Brahman Kul. And because of which Shringi, who was the unqualified Brahmana, cursed Pariksit Maharaj. He could have let go Pariksit Maharaj also, right? Like the way Pariksit Maharaj could have killed Kali, similarly, Shringi could have also forgiven Pariksit Maharaj. Then Pariksit Maharaj wouldn't have to die and he would have continued ruling. Why did Shringi kill?
No.
There are many ifs and buts to it.
That way is fine, but my point is like, is Kali a person? Like, we are switching. Whenever we want to present him as a person, we are presenting him as a person.
Yeah.
Whenever we want to present him as, like, as Sachinandan Prabhu said, like indication, something like that. So, maybe this requires a lot of faith, and especially when some new people ask, is it an allegorical story, or then how do we present them?
Yeah, Kali is a person. He's a personification. And that personification is with those 4 pillars. That is a personification of Kali.
So it's an indication also, Prabhuji said from other viewpoint.
Yes.
So Achintya Veda.
Yes.
Veda.
And why we worry? We are now in Mahaprabhu's movement. This is a time we can go back. So if not then, like the way you said, it would have not been a troubleful time for us till now. But now we are in Mahaprabhu. You are practicing since so many years. It itself is glorious.
To answer the people in
People
general.
के लिए answer. Take up to chanting Kalir Doshakri Nidhi Rajan that Mahaguna in Kali Yuga is that just by chanting the Mahamantra one can go back. So that faith we have to have in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, right? For the people in general, we have to have that to preach to them. If they say that, similarly they have a question, why did I land up here? Had he killed him, then I wouldn't have to suffer so much. Still, there is one good quality about Kali Yuga, which the Acharyas are saying that it's the best of all ages, because in this age, in a second, you can go back. Huh? Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I heard something, not in ISKCON, but outside some other parampara. that in the people in Kali Yuga are so degraded, because after this Yuga, Satya Yuga comes. People in this Kali Yuga, they will not take birth in next Satya Yuga. They have to wait in, I don't know, Mahatattva somewhere. They will take only, again Kali Yuga comes, something like that. I heard like that. Is it true or anything? Can you say?
Yeah, so if we, that's true. You mentioned that we all go into Mahatattva, and then according to the actions that we perform in previous lives, we get into one of the yonis. Of course, Satyuga is the human form of life, is the best medium wherein all will be pious, but the other yonis you are inevitably suffering. Yeah, that is what my understanding is. Hare Krishna. So we stop here. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Hari Pramanande Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.